Thank you very much, Honorable Nivot Trochen. Honorable Yako.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think for the sake of progress, I'm going to just do maybe a preamble, ask a few questions based on this report, and then pose some questions to the Minister. I think we've been deliberating on this for 2 days now, and we're extremely tired, and I don't think we have any tangible answers or any tangible kind of direction as to where we should go, and nothing is coming out. If I'm going to say it in isiXhosa, from what we are doing, and I hope at some point we're going to keep picking at it until something comes out and remedies are made. There's 3 elephants here, but the biggest elephant is the white elephant, which is G4S, which has hindered progress across. And I think they've had their way for a very long time, and which is why they have made this work so difficult that we are here now where we are. We've gone to correctional service centers. The commissioner will know. We've seen what they can do with the resources that they have. I'm talking about state-owned ones, state-run ones. We've seen how you deal with overcrowding. We've seen how you are able to be self-sustainable in some. We've seen how you're able to have animals breed, make furniture from scratch, rehabilitate. We've seen all those things. Also, we've seen how G4S is a cut above the rest, and primarily because of the 7 billion that we've spent over the 20 years for G4S. And for me, it begs the question as to why did it take so long for correctional services and the ministry to decide on terminating that contract? Because it seemed to me, had this not been a factor right now, it would have maybe been renewed in 2024. So that concerns me. And then moving to the report, I'm just going to ask a few questions. So on page 7, you've got a graph there. I don't know if you can go to it now. Slide 14. Yes. No, 14. Yeah. So you say there, this is your reports as from 2017 to 2023. And you had an incident in 2022 when someone died of unnatural causes, and that is not recorded there, there's a 0. You've got death, but there's nothing, the death investigation, and you've got 0 in 2022. And it should have been recorded that you had an incident that happened in 2022 of Thabo Bester who killed himself, but it's not recorded there. And I'm wondering why that is.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. We are not reporting it as an unnatural death. We are reporting it as an escape. In the financial year 2022, we had 2 escapes. The one in May and the one in December. We are reporting it as an escape.
But you had not captured it as an escape at the time of 2022 then. Should you not then reconfigure that in 2023 to say, we had thought it was an unnatural death at the time because that's what you reported. That's what you claimed it was, and G4S claimed that there was a death of Thabo Bester at the time. And you should have then reconfigured it in 2023 to say, no, now that the evidence has come through, true, we are then listening that to A. Or that should have been an addendum to that graph, because then it doesn't make sense.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, I agree with the Honorable Member. This report is a report that was prepared for the Portfolio Committee as of this period, after, obviously, the financial year 2022. If this report was, and it is after, of course, we have received our final report. And now, if this report, this presentation, this slide was worked on before we received our final report, it would reflect as an unnatural death.
But you do note that it reads as untrue based on the evidence that you had in 2022 and now, without a side note saying that what should have happened is this. What was recorded in 2022 is this. That's what I want to flag. Secondly, National Commission, on page 8, you talk about an integrated security system that's able to detect cell phones in the facilities. And how do you think that Thabo Bester was found with a cell phone in his cell? If that integrated security system that you've put here, which I think, had I been you, I would have taken out, because that's not what it did. It did not take that cell phone that came into his cell at the time.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Well, our report shows that the officials that were managing the control rooms did not do their work, including the fact that even cameras were tampered with. So the system is there. It has this functionalities, but we still rely on honest officials that are committed to do their work, Now, when we find out that they have not done their work, we implement consequence management. But the systems are there. They are trained, and there is on-site support at all times. If something goes wrong with the system, it shows, and the technicians on-site are supposed to attend to it. But technicians can only attend to it if it is reported. And also, if it is reported and technicians don't attend to that error, also those technicians obviously will be found wanting through investigation processes. And that's what our investigation report is indicating. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Chair. On page 11, there's a sequence of events that you've outlined here, and maybe the Minister will come in and, with you, Commissioner, and make me understand why you would have a meeting. So it says SEPS informed G4S that they changed the inquest to a homicide, and G4S informed DCA's controller on the 6th of June. And it seems to me, and then the outcome of this investigation was not provided to DCAS until the 31st of March. And you then add a bit of a part there, which I think is a way of apologizing for your inaction, which says that the letter from G4S, however, indicates the death of Inmod Thabo Bester was now a homicide, meaning that they still consider the body as that of Thabo Bester. So you allowed the narrative of a Thabo Bester who was then murdered, but the name Thabo Bester still remains there, even though you knew that that person who died there, or the person who was brought dead was not the person. Why would you allow G4S to only give you that investigation a year later?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. We did indicate upfront in the presentation and in the report the difficulties that we faced with getting information from G4S, the evasiveness, and outright refusal. We have the evidence in the investigation report.
And as DCS, you don't have control over G4S whatsoever. They're just allowed to say to you, we're not going to give you what you want.
We have taken steps. That's why we continued with our investigation. And the recommendations are pointing to the fact that we need to issue out notices in line with the contract to deal with this type of transgressions or non-compliance, but also, as we are sitting here this evening, we have taken control of the facility, and it is for that reason. But if we go back to 6 June, at that time, the department had not received, let me put it this way, the investigators had not received the autopsy and DNA reports.
Okay. On page 13, you say findings of the investigation. The sequence of events outlined in the report substantiates that there were a number of breaches on the contract leading up to the escape of Thabo Bester. And to the Minister, what is going to happen with regards to these breaches to this contract?
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. One, think that maybe I must correct Honorable Yako. When you started, you said maybe we are saying we will not renew the contract because of this incident. We have said it many years ago. Even in this committee, we have also said it, that our intention is that when the contract expire in 2026, we do not have an intention to extend it or to renew it. We said it in this committee. We have also said it in public. And with regard to the question you're asking now, is that it is part of the issue of the legal opinion. What then should be done with all these breaches? Because as you are aware, as you will have seen, there are a lot of litigations between the department and MCC. So whatever decisions that we need to take must be informed by, must be based on proper legal basis.
That's your final answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you want us to litigate in this house.
That's not needed. That comment was really not needed, Minister. What is the obligation of DCS with regards to the body that was found? The body that was not Thabo Bester, that was found on the premises of G4S.
The obligation of DCS would be to report the incident to the police, which was duly done. In the instance that, let me go back to the first report that we received, that this was an unnatural death. One of the things that we tested through our investigators is to check if G4S did inform the next of kin. And the response that we received from G4S was that they could not find the next of kin, because we wanted to get to the point where the body gets to be, given to Dr. Maguduma. So our investigators actually called the next of kin that is indicated in the profile of Thabo Bester, who is the uncle. And just with one phone call, we're able to connect with the uncle. So if we have an offender that dies through a natural death or any kind or even an incident of harm that happens to an offender, we report to the police and we inform the next of kin.
No,
apart from the medical treatment and other treatments
Sorry,
that will then
I just
provide.
want you to backtrack a bit. So you're saying that when you found the body, you were able to get in touch with the uncle?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, yes. Yes, Honorable Member.
So why did G4S come here and say to us that they were unable to get a hold of the uncle, and then they then handed the body over to Maguduma?
5 minutes.
I'll be done, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. That is the basis of the outcome of our report. As we were investigating, that's what we are indicating in the report.
So what G4S is saying is false, that they were unable to get hold of the uncle so that the body would then be handed over to the next person, because you were able to get hold of the uncle.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, that's exactly what I'm saying. It is in our report, and we have records of that interaction. Actually, even the official of G4S that was charged with this responsibility was interviewed, and there is an affidavit that talks to the account of G4S, but we have our own account.
So Mr. Groenewald and Mr. Groenewald basically came here and lied to the House to say that they could not get hold of the uncle on the day. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Just one last thing. How many deaths have been recorded at MCC that are unnatural?
Honorable Chairperson, I would request that we go back to the table.
You recorded 0 there.
We have listed this according to financial years.
Okay.
And we are referring to which financial year, Honorable Member?
It's
Apologies.
fine, Commissioner, I'm covered. I'm covered.
I did answer this question
You did,
before.
yeah, you did,
Yes,
no, you
so
did.
that's why I'm saying
Yeah,
which year are we
you
referring
did.
to?
No, I'm
Yes.
covered. Just one second last thing, Chair. Looking at the gravity of the matter that we have at hand right now, looking at the fact that you apprehended Thabo Bester and he's now in Hosimaburo, how secure are you that you are going to keep him safe so that whoever orchestrated any of this is unable to get hold of him? Because if they can take a body and put it and plant it in a cell at maximum prison, they're able to do anything to him right now. How are you making sure that he is safe right now in order to account fully until this process is over and we can find out who was involved and how deep this goes?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. The standard that we apply to offenders of high risk like Thabo Bester is the same. Obviously, we also look at the type of crimes that that offender would be serving for or sentenced for.
I think, can you guarantee his safety or not?
He is safe in terms of the security plan that we have put in place.
Okay. Just lastly, Minister, are you happy with your performance with regards to this?
Yeah, I have done what I was supposed to do and ensured that after I was informed by the inspecting judge, I informed the National Commissioner who told me of the investigation that is already underway, which unfortunately he said he could not share it at the preliminary stages because it was still at infancy. The information was not enough at that time because I asked him, but why didn't you tell me about this? And that's what he said. And I emphasized the issue that this matter is important, it must be prioritized. And I followed up, and from time to time he will tell me that it's a sensitive matter, there is multiple bodies, there is an ongoing investigation that we must not jeopardize. But there is investigation that is underway and is being attended to.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Chair, I think I have
Honorable
a minute. I'll give it to Fosi.
Okay, Honorable Khoza.
Chair, it's me.
Oh, okay, okay.
Iminute ayinganikwa
So
ngiyami.
you will have 11 minutes, 16 minutes. Thank you very much. Honorable Ramulube.
Thank you, Chair. My voice is a bit quirky. I don't know whether I'm developing flu or throat, or maybe it's because of us we've been speaking a lot for the past 2 days. Chair, let me welcome the report from the DCS and the Minister. Afternoon again, colleagues, or evening now. Chair or Minister and the National Commissioner, how much would you say the G4S would have to pay if there's an escape in the, what would be the amount of the penalty if there's an escape in the facility? How much is it? I'm not speaking of those monies of litigation, Minister, that you made of the penalty if there's an escape in the MMC.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I'm going to ask the Acting Director Contract Management to respond to the issue, the question.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Chairperson. Normally, in cases of escape, the observation fine is just under 1 million. So that is what should be expected for G4S to pay.
What is under 1 million? Even 1 rand is under 1 million.
I was about to say that.
Precisely 900,000.
Can we get accuracy of that report, please? and also have a report of how many escape actually would have transpired in the MCC. Bearing in mind also our oversight visit that we did last year in April, the mention of the escapes that they would have transpired, including the Thobakgale one, including the one in December of the person who escaped in the hospital. Can we, through you, Chair, get that detailed report? Commissioner, you made an indication that you got to be aware of the escape in January. Is that correct?
I got to be aware of the escape after receiving the report. The report I received on the 22nd of March.
So in January, you were not unaware of a possible escape from someone or anything?
In January
Yes, 2023.
2023, I was aware of a draft investigation report that was submitted by the investigators through the controller to the director contract management. It was a draft report which had information that pointed to the escape with all the information that was supporting that. That is the report that I followed up the director contract management on to say that you have received a report. It's we need to finalize this report so we can be able to firstly report the escape to SAPS, and we can then put in motion our own processes of tracking and tracing. The response that I received was that at that time the director was still considering the report and additional information, so it would not be a report that would put me in a position of reliability in terms of concluding that definitely there is an escape.
An assurance based on the report says on the 12th of January, the controller would have opened an escape case with SAPS. That is on your report. Who is the official that opened a case? The one who's a controller in the MCC, who's based in the MCC?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, is Mr. Mahonono.
What would have happened since with Mr. Mahonono 3 months later after opening that case? What is the current status of that person right now?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, Mr. Mahonono is contemplated for suspension. We are continuing with the investigations under the unit, departmental investigation unit. He is also currently providing information and statements that we need for us to investigate broader the role of G4S in the whole incident.
Do you suspect any foul play from his side to be equally implicated in this plan to get Bester escape?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. In answering that question, I would say that as the department, we are at this moment not convinced that he acted with due care with regards to his responsibilities. And we are pointing to that in the report. For instance, on the Saturday of that long weekend, Mr. Mahonono visited the correctional facility. He always does that. And he goes to 3 places. He goes to the control room, he goes to the kitchen, and he goes to Broadway. But on that night, he did not go to Broadway. These are some of the issues that point out to the fact that he did not act with the care and the responsibility that was required of him. And he acted out of his normal routine. But as I've indicated, we've contemplated him, and we are actually getting more information from him and more statements, especially about inmates or offenders that can assist with more information, and the officials of G4S.
Is he the only one suspended?
He is not the only one. The director, contract management is suspended. The deputy controller is contemplated for suspension. Both of them have been removed from Mangaung.
When do you perhaps see you concluding the investigation? Especially around the implicated ones who are suspended currently.
Honorable Chairperson, without necessarily giving, specific time frames, I would say that it would not take us more than 2 months from now to finalize that, because we need to take these officials through disciplinary processes, and there are timelines in terms of the Labor Relations Act and the basic conditions of employment.
Minister, I want to go back to an exchange between you and Honorable Breitenbeck. Especially at the time that Justice Cameron was informing us regarding the telephone discussion between or vis-a-vis the letter regarding the issue of Mangaung. Did Justice Cameron in certainty mention that in your discussion in your phone call discussion that Bester was out?
No. It was still an uncertain thing that there is suspicion, and that there could be some credence that needs to be investigated. Hence, I immediately called the National Commissioner to say that with this information coming from the judge that there could be some credence, we need to act with the priority on this matter. But it was not with certainty. There was still
Uncertainties.
uncertainty, whether it's true, whether it's possible, and it was still unbelievable. But I understood the fact that if it came from him,
It's a
there
matter
must
that needs to be
action.
treated with agency.
Yeah.
Did he come back when it was certain that there is an escape of Thabo Bester in the MCC? To certain you now?
No.
Chair, I want to go to the contract between DCS and Mangaung. I understand the discussion that says you are seeking legal recourse on the matter regarding getting out of the contract and so forth and so on. But I just want to go back. Yesterday, Honorable Ola made mention or raised an issue on the fire detectors in Broadway, and there was an indication that says they were not there, and there was a follow-up to say, didn't the management of the center seat fit that? Chair, I'm being Jigs is, and I hope my time is not going to be taken by Jigs, Chair.
Thank you very much, Judge. Proceed, Honorable Ramulubeng.
Thank you. Chair, I made an indication that Honorable Ola yesterday raised an issue of fire detectors, and there was an indication that they're not there in Broadway, and there was a follow-up that says, didn't they see it fit that fire detectors should be put in place? They raised issues of the contract between them and DCS, so which does not allow them or permit them to do that. Clause 8 and Clause 9 of the main contract allows for a contractor to propose changes to the contract. In this instance, it means G4S would be able to, install those fire detectors. Is this true? Can really Clause 8 and Clause 9 speak to that? If indeed, are we able to have G4S installing them? So that we understand whether they wanted to install them or they just chose not to do it.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. It is true that there is a provision in the concession contract for that, Section 8 and 9, and upon application, DCS would consider that, and it is an improvement that is necessary to enhance the security of the institution, and will allow that to happen.
Did G4S be made aware of that provision?
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. I would want to believe that they know about that provision. I think the main issue is that they should have applied. But I must indicate that there was a review done of the infrastructure and its limitations, and the issue of fire detectors was raised in that report, and that report was submitted to G4S. It was the investigation or the review was done by the facilities unit from the Department of Correctional Services with the assistance of Department of Public Works and Infrastructure.
You are left with 2 minutes plus 1 minute of disturbance, so 3 minutes.
Thanks, Chair. What remedial action should be considered by the department, bearing in mind the embarrassment of this incident that it would have cost the country? What remedial action do you propose should happen, Minister and National Commissioner? We're sitting with a crisis that has plunged us into a serious embarrassment as a whole country. And two, do we have a roadmap to remedy ourselves in this whole situation?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Member. The first remedial action is from our side, hence we apologize for this incident. As the custodians of the Correctional Services Act, we understand that this happened at the MCC G4S operated facility. But we take responsibility because we are the custodian of the Correctional Services Act. That is the first remedial action, is to apologize to the country. And indeed, it was dangerous that this guy was let off the hook by the G4S officials. The second one is the one that we prefer not to go too much into it because of the legal implications, where we are still seeking a legal opinion on the issue of the termination of the contract or not and all that, and also assessing our own capability, whether we have the capacity to take over, because as you will have seen from the presentation, the facility has got about 500 and something employees.
507 officials.
507 officials. So taking over can't be an overnight thing. So you need to build that capacity. There is infrastructure, there's technology, there's a number of things that needs to be considered. So all are the things that we are attending to, and they will be able to, when we are ready, within a reasonable space of time, inform the committee of our decision of you.
Immediately after getting that legal advice, I would propose, Chair, through you, that they do inform the committee so that we equally could have a say on what should happen. Because some of us where we're sitting, we are vying for a total termination of the G4S contract. And sitting here, I understand the implication, Minister. Sitting here, I get worried if that should happen in 2 months' time. We seem not to be ready to take over the institution. It worries me sitting here. Because of my next question was going to be, are we ready to take over the institution if in 2 months' time we're given that opportunity? Because the situation we're facing, it can be correct. Thanks, Chair.
Yeah, maybe
Sorry, Minister, before you answer, what was your proposal? I lost the first part of the proposal.
I'm saying immediately after they seek the legal views, they must bring them to the committee so that we equally can contribute towards that, especially on the matter of termination of the G4S contract. Chair.
Yeah, Chairperson, I don't want to appear disrespecting the honorable member of parliament. I thought you were going to give guidance on that request.
We will deal with it when we deliberate.
Okay.
So the reason I was saying Minister, it's because as I was trying to, in fact, as I was asking her to repeat the response, we were already responding. So I thought because I had interrupted you that I must give back to you.
No, I'm referring to
Okay, that issue.
to her request. I suspect you understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No. we
Okay.
will deal with
Thank you.
No, I'm fine, Chair. My minute, Chair, we can give it to Honorable Janji.
No, no, there's nothing, but there's something suspicious about Honorable Janji and Honorable Horn. They disappear, they come late, but when there is the time to speak, 1 minute before then they come in. That's what happened yesterday with you. That's why your time was expropriated, half of your time. Now it's Honorable Janji. Yeah, so you're just in the next 16 minutes, it will be your time to close. Now it's Honorable Koza, then it will be you.